So yeah, first off, just give me a run through of sort of a bit about yourself, what type of music you do, and how it's all been going.
Yeah. So I am a artist, writer, producer, and DJ, based in Liverpool, from Liverpool, and I work in dance music. Um, Kind of played around with different genres as I've developed as an artist from a younger age, but I've definitely found a permanent home in dance. Um, so I'm kind of just seeing where it goes, chipping away.
And yeah, how about you get started? Obviously, it sounds like you're in a wide variety of things, but what is it about sort of music that sort of draw you into something and made you think like it was something you wanted to do, sort of as a career?
I think the earliest memory I've got of wanting to do music was watching my great granddad. Whenever I go and visit him, he played piano and violin, and they're the two instruments I actually picked up the start of my musical journey, kind of copying him. I was always like really impressed and just inspired, and I think I loved the passion that he displayed when he'd show me. Like it really meant a lot to him being able to share his passion for music. So it just started from there, and then I've quickly found that songwriting was a really good kind of form of expression, and probably more importantly therapy, because writing enabled me to basically clear the noise in my head. So in school I literally spent every break, every lunch, and I'd often get kicked out by the caretaker after school because I'd just be sat at a piano in the music room, just writing and playing and learning, and just became obsessed with it.
Yeah, music's such a great outlet, isn't it, to sort of like work through your emotions and sort of like get stuff off your chest that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to. What sort of themes were sort of when you're in school? What sort of things were sort of speaking to you and you were sort of talking about with your music?
It's funny, I probably mostly wrote love songs or breakup songs, even though I'd never been in love or never experienced a breakup. This was like pre-relationship age. I think I took a lot of inspiration from the things I'd watch. I was a massive Disney kid, as you can probably tell. So all those themes of love and betrayal and, overcoming obstacles, anything that was kind of portrayed in a Disney film, I took inspiration from that. And I think I pulled a lot of emotion from the things I'd watched as a kid. Which obviously was great practice for when I needed to actually write about them things and get those emotions off my own chest. So yeah, that was pretty much it. Just things I'd actually not experienced yet, but obviously felt inspired by them.
Yeah, and as your sort of career's progressed and you've obviously you've continued doing your music, have you had anyone sort of like who's listened to it come to you and sort of say, oh, like that really expressed how I was feeling about that time, that makes me relate to this time? Have you experienced anything like that?
I've definitely had it in the past. With the dance stuff, possibly not as much, because the theme tends to be a bit more light-hearted. People kind of just want to dance to music that's happy, or the lyrics don't for me personally, when I'm working in dance, I try not to go too deep with the lyrics. It's more just about making sure the melodies complement the music. That's kind of where I go with it. But definitely when I was doing the pop stuff and I was kind of tackling a pop artist project, the lyrics were probably a lot more relatable for your everyday kind of experiences. So like the themes we were talking about before, the loves, the breakups, and I would have people come to me and just say like that line kind of really resonated, which is always a really nice thing to hear as a writer, because I think as a writer, most importantly, I'm kind of just writing to express my experiences. It's kind of, like I said, it's a way for me to clear my head and for me to turn something that maybe has bothered me or upset me into something that actually I'm really proud of. So when people then come and say, I actually really relate to this, that's more than anything just a bonus on top of the process of me expressing myself.
Say you've had quite a few a big 2 years, according to the original email I got from Sam. Sort of you've tell me about the sort of people you've worked with over that time. Some quite big names there.
Yeah. So, I mean, the bigger ones I can think of off the top of my head are Roger Sanchez and Laidback Luke, which two people who've kind of been a little bit of, I'd say in Luke, a massive inspiration, especially when I was a bit younger. We're talking like 15 years old. I would have my little red iPod Nano at school and I would be blasting his tunes. Anything that was kind of like really hard EDM kind of got me through a lot of rubbish, let's just say. Got me through a lot of bad times. So being able to just switch off and put that music on, and then finding out 10 years later that I'm actually doing a tune with them. Like, I never, if someone had told 15-year-old me that was going to happen, I would have laughed. So it's just kind of strange how things can go round in a full circle like that. Then Roger is just an absolute amazing guy. Like, really, really nice person, really great person to work with and just to develop with. Like, he's the kind of guy who will challenge your work, but in the most constructive way, obviously, making you think differently about the way you'd approach certain things. I love working with people like that. And then I've travelled around working with people in Hamburg. So working with Martin Trevi, Neptunica, which again is really lovely to work in a different type of market, because the UK house scene currently is very, we just want some little phrases that are going to take off on TikTok. Whereas in Europe, it still seems to be kind of like, we want a full song. And coming from a pop background, that's just really nice to still be able to do that, the full song structures, and we still want all the big melodies and everything. So it's nice to kind of be a part of both markets.
Yeah, and that's a sort of the challenge it's come in the last few years with music. It's so focused on like, not the song going big, but a short snip of the song going big. So that how hard is it to sort of like make music like that? It's like you sort of try and think, okay, will this work well in like a 15-minute burst on TikTok or an Instagram reel?
It was hard to get used to at first, because I am not a TikTok person. I am not the kind of person who will binge videos. So for me to get into that app anyway as an artist it's very difficult. I've constantly got Sam being like, that thing up on TikTok. I just don't think about using it because I'm not that kind of person. But so it is hard going into sessions and getting told, let's make a TikTok friendly song. It's like the last thing you want to hear. But it's just the way things go, and you have to adapt. I'm finding that now that I'm producing my own solo stuff, I've got a real kind of thirst for producing tech house at the moment. So those TikTok kind of tunes work well for the tech house, where we're just doing like spoken word with those keywords. Like you might mention going out, your party, whatever. Just your key kind of phrases that would possibly go a bit viral on TikTok are kind of drilled into those tech house tunes. So I've kind of warmed up to the idea of TikTok friendly tunes now. Probably still won't use TikTok, but we'll see. Yeah.
And you've also attended writing camps in Miami, in Germany. What was the sort of thinking behind that, and what was that experience like for you?
Experience is always amazing. It's great to travel around and to meet new people and just see new places. You don't get to see as much as you'd like to see because you spend all day in the studio, and then you might be a bit tired by the time it's like exploring of an evening. But we're there to work and we're there to make tunes, and as long as I come home with lots of new songs, I'm happy. And it's just nice. It's nice not knowing what you're going to work on until the day when you're sat in that room with the producer, and then they show you a bunch of songs and you kind of pick together what kind of vibe you're feeling. It's always just a really nice experience and a great way to come home with lots of new songs. And
sort of all the stuff that's been sort of happening sort of in recent years. Again, Sam mentioned that he called you a jobbing artist for a few years.
Which artist?
Yeah, a jobbing artist.
Jobbing artist?
Yeah. Which you might disagree, but you did also say it feels like you're sort of getting your sort of big break now. Is that how you feel at the moment? Do you feel
I don't know what a jobbing artist is.
Yeah, I assume just like you're like sort of up and coming maybe, or emerging,
okay.
or but maybe don't dwell on that. But you did say you just feel like you're getting a big break at the moment. Is that how you're feeling right now? And if so, like sort of how, sort of like what's sort of going through your head at the moment with all that?
I think for me, I think as a creative, you're always gonna want to strive for a little bit more. Something I kind of learned a couple of years ago is no matter how much you try and plan ahead, something can always go wrong that's completely out of your hands. So something I don't really do anymore is plan too far ahead. I'm always saying go with the flow. So as long as I'm doing the work that's just in front of me, if things start to piece together, perfect, that's great. I do definitely feel like I'm, progressively reaching that point where I'm closer and closer to the point where I'd like to be, which is, doing this completely full time, not having to have a little side hustle kind of thing, and just gigging more and more. But obviously I think it's quite easy to forget how short the period of my little dance artist project has been, because I've done pop for years before it. Me and Sam's constantly having to remind me like of things that we've achieved in the last 2 years, and I'll go, oh God, yeah, I forgot, because it's so easy to forget when you're just constantly having to focus on the next thing. I'm really, really happy with where I am, and I think it's nice to constantly reflect on the little wins, because it is, like I said, it is really easy to forget when you're busy.
Yeah, and we've already spoken a bit about this before, but sort of looking where you are now compared to, when you were like saying behind in school on the piano, or listening to sort of your great grandmother's music. Did you ever sort of feel that you'd ever sort of get to this stage really with it, like with all the sort of difficulties that you faced on the way?
I don't know. I probably had days where I dreamed big and I thought I'm going to be on a massive stage with loads of people screaming, because I think as a kid we all do that, and that's probably what sparks the passion and the interest in the first place. But I don't really think I ever thought like I could do this as a full-time job. I'm quite a real person, and obviously knew it was going to be a massive task and a lot of hard work was going to have to go into it. But I mean, we've just got the news that I'm going to be doing Creamfields this year, after just doing a last minute performance last year to get my own book in this year as my name. 10 years ago when I was just starting off at university and I'd only just started going to my first festivals, I would never have thought I'd be doing Creamfields. So I suppose I didn't think I'd be where I am now.
Yeah. What days are you on at Creamfields?
We are pretty certain it's the Saturday. Just
okay.
Either today or tomorrow. But yeah,
that's great. Unfortunately, I'm covering Creamfields, but unfortunately, it's the Thursday and Friday, so I don't think I'll catch you if that's the case. But we know now, and again, I can let whoever's covering it, I can let them know.
Well, I can let you know as soon as it's confirmed. As soon as the date itself is confirmed, then
And you've also got a Boss Night performance. This will go out after the sort of performance, but obviously Boss Night over the last few years, it's been great, hasn't it? It's produced. Jamie Webster's sort of started Boss Night. Look how far he's come. Keo as well. On the LFC tours. It must feel great to sort of be part of something which seems like sort of producing just sort of so many like great talented musicians from the city.
Yeah, definitely. I think more than anything, just as a Liverpool fan, it's obviously a really special thing. I've been to a few Boss Nights and the atmosphere is always electric. The first one I went to, we just missed out by a point. Like, this was, I think it was the 2019 season, and it was just the best night ever. And all of my mates who weren't Liverpool fans just couldn't get me head around it. They were like, why are you celebrating? You just lost. I was like, we're not celebrating that we've lost. We're just celebrating the fact that we are Liverpool and we love it and we love being a part of this club. We love being fans. So to go from, you know, going to my first boss night a few years back to DJing at one, it's obviously really, really exciting. And it's just lovely to be a part of such a special team of really nice people who all have a passion for the club as well. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm a big Liverpool fan as well. Yeah, I went to Boston a few years ago, and it does sum up the sort of spirit of the last few years, doesn't it? It's, you know, you can get people will have a go and get caught up in like, oh, but you didn't win this, you didn't win that, like, why are you celebrating? But what I think do you agree that what they've really encapsulated is that being a football supporter, especially of Liverpool, it goes a lot more than like the results itself. It's also about you know, the sort of the experience of being a fan, of being on a journey, and yeah, just feeling like so connected, and you know, and promoting the city as well, promoting how good the city is and the great people that are sort of coming from it.
That's it, definitely. Like you said, it gives these boss nights give so many lads such an amazing platform to kickstart their careers, and you know, the fact that the fans have got behind them and their music, you know, and followed them at their own shows away from boss night is just incredible. What they've been able to make there, and you know, like you said, it's much bigger than just following results. It's being a part of this massive community, which I think, you know, the city really needs. So it's great.
And sort of going forward, obviously the boss night's coming up this week. You've got Creamfields. Is there anything else you've got sort of in the pipeline that you're excited about?
Yeah, so I am working really hard on producing my solo releases. So I've got a few labels that I'm basically developing that for, and it's just really exciting because it's something I only really picked up production in the lockdowns just for something to do, like a lot of musicians I think did, and it's one of those things that I can easily forget to produce things if other things take over, like work for other people. So it's been quite nice because we've had such a busy release schedule over the last year, collaborating with all these different artists. It's nice to sit back now, and I now know what sound I want to go forward with, which is something I've struggled to find for years. So to sit down with my desk set up and just really stick my head into my laptop and get going with these solo songs, and knowing that these are mine, these are fully mine. My lyrics, my vocals, my production, every bit of idea has come from my brain, and I'm just really excited to finally get them out, you know, and to work with some of the labels that I'm going to be working with. So yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that.
And is there anything else you'd like to talk about, Katy, that we haven't already discussed so far?
I suppose there's the different festivals that I've done this year. So I've just come off the back of doing Kendall Calling, which was really exciting, as that was my first time at Kendall. And there was the Warwick Castle gig with Roger Sanchez. So performing in front of, I think it was more than 8,000 people at Warwick Castle, doing our new song together with Cafe Mambo. I think it's just nice being able to do all these collaborations with like different brands. So obviously Cafe Mambo is a little dream to do a little set while the sun's setting at Cafe Mambo in Ibiza. So what's so exciting about working in dance is being able to kind of collaborate with these different people, and just the excitement of possibly opening new doors. It's like a constant thing, and it's just really nice.
And just finally, I forgot to ask about this earlier, but I know you've worked with sort of LFC Retail as well,
yes.
and you've even like met Jurgen Klopp. So talk me through that experience and how like sort of great that's been to sort of like do all that and like be featured in the program as well.
Yeah, I mean, as a massive Red, it's just an amazing feeling to be connected to the club in that way. You know, without doing music over the years, I probably never would have got the opportunity to meet Jurgen Klopp. So that was by far probably the highlight of my music career. Even though he's nothing to do with music, it's just I would never have had that opportunity if I wasn't doing what I'm doing. And you know, moments like that spur you on to keep going and to keep striving for more. So and then obviously working with LFC Retail again, they love collaborating with up and coming artists, and that's how I've managed to do that, is by doing music all these years and just working with the team and the team at LFC Retail and the media group. And it's just nice. It's just nice to be a part of something the same as Boss Night, to be a part of a little community or a little family where we work together on something that we're all actually really passionate about. I got enough appetite for your loving. I'm satisfied till the music ends. Maybe feel it all again.